Well, for the past 2 years, lives have been completely upended here and right around the world because of COVID-19. But now, just as we turn the corner in living with the virus, up comes another virus, this time Japanese encephalitis, which has been discovered in more than 40 piggeries across Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia in just the past month. This afternoon, we learned that 2 cases of human infection have been recorded in New South Wales, the first ever locally acquired human cases of this potentially deadly virus. And in breaking news within the last hour, the Department of Health has confirmed that a Victorian man in his 60s has now died from this virus after an autopsy took place. We've had a death. It is the first known death of Japanese encephalitis virus in the state of Victoria. Caused by the spread of mosquitos, we're told. The virus usually has no symptoms, but can, in rare serious cases, cause swelling in the brain and death. The outbreak in those piggeries has been declared an incident of national significance by the acting chief medical officer. Now, for his analysis, I'm joined now by infectious diseases physician and microbiologist at the Australian National University, Professor Peter Collignon. Peter, I thought we'd ended our weekly discussions with you, and sadly, we've got to come back to you with the news of a death, 2 cases confirmed on Japanese encephalitis. What can you tell us about this virus?
Well, this is a virus that's very common, particularly in Asia, particularly associated in places that have pigs and mosquitoes and to some degree a lot of water, particularly rice paddies. And it's very common in Asia. Children are the main ones who become ill because adults who survive into adulthood often have had milder infection before and therefore are relatively immune to it. But most people, luckily, have mild disease or don't even know they had it. But about 1 in 200, 1 in 250 people get severe disease, predominantly encephalitis, and encephalitis means inflammation of the brain. And that obviously is very serious. And about a third of those people actually die. And another third, if they survive, are left with, permanent disability. So while you can say, well, the chances are I won't get it, if you get a lot of people infected, you have a lot of deaths, a lot of disease. And therefore, this is not a disease we've had in Australia that's stayed here before. We've had cases in northern Queensland associated with the Torres Island, but not this far south. And so it really is important to find the extent of the disease, find which pigs or piggeries have it, stop the movement of those, pigs between farms, and do what we can to control it. And in the short term, people need to do whatever they can to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes, because we've got a number of diseases you get from mosquitoes anyway. Barmer forest virus, Ross River virus. There's something called Australian encephalitis that used to be called Murray Valley encephalitis. That's been around for decades. Birds are the reservoir for that latter one, but others are other marsupials. But this is new, where pigs are probably the main reservoir, and people who are in vicinity of pigs, a few kilometres that maybe the mosquitoes can travel, can get it, as can people near river courses, because it's possible birds and even horses might have it as well. But
okay, so
we need a lot more information.
What about the wet and humid summer we've just had? That is mosquito weather, as we know in this country. They seem to be everywhere already. If we don't get any symptoms, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I think you wouldn't do anything if you don't have any symptoms. I presume state health departments will be doing what we call serology or blood tests to see how extensive the infection might be in certain populations. So people might be asked to give their blood, or blood donors will have their blood used for that purpose. But all of us, all the time, need to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes, and more so now, and particularly if you're in the countryside near rivers, because there will be more mosquitoes because of the wet summer we've had. So it's really important to make sure you have fly screens, you cover your arms and legs, insect repellent, all those things that decrease your chance of being bitten by mosquitoes. We should do that all the time, but even more now.
Okay, good advice. We'll take that advice. Peter Collignon, thank you very much for your time again.
Thank you.